Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Monday, and this is the Monday Mashup. Coming to you at the slightly earlier time of 7 p.m. because we've got the little game of the Merseyside Derby to cover from 8 o'clock. I will be bringing you tonight at 10:15 a match reaction and player ratings, no matter what way the game goes. So we will wait and see on that. We'll bring you team news just as soon as we have it, but we've plenty to cover tonight. We're going to do a Premier League review of all the results of the weekend, an absolute madness. And we're also going to be talking about VAR. We're going to be talking about Nathan Jones. We're going to dismissal from Southampton. God, we're going to be talking about so much stuff tonight, so we need to get at it straight away. As always, if you're in the comments or you're in the chat, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about, any topics you want me to cover as well, because it's as much your show as it is ours. We're only here because you guys support us. So, of course, subscribe, like, and hit that bell notification as much as you can, and share the content. And even if you're watching it on the replay, make sure you're liking and subscribing to the channel. As I said in earlier show than normal, we're going to run for about an hour tonight, and then we'll be straight into the Merseyside Derby, a massive game for both teams at the moment, and a lot of conflicting reports and all coming out at the moment, and crazy stuff at the minute being released. Henry's in the comments. First of all, Henry Ray Baker channel. Folks, get over there, support this man. He's on 66 subs at the moment. I'd like to see him by the end of February to be up around 100. So anyone on our channel at the moment here, head over there, drop the man a subscribe, look after the man, share the love as much as you can. Henry, how are you? Evening Upper Tier. How's you? Got a podcast Thursday talking about VAR system. If you're interested, yeah, hit me up, let me know. Send me on the details, pal. If I'm available, I'll let you know. Thursday's normally quite hectic for me here between podcasts and stuff, but if I can make it, if not, I'll certainly jump into the chat and we'll boost it like crazy. 66 subs at the moment, exactly. Head over there and sort it out. Henry gives us an update here on the underage. Under 18s drew 3-3 to Derby, and the under 21s lost to City 3-1. Musaleski scored. Our ladies lost to the bottom club, Leicester 1-0. Just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? And Henry back in again. Morrison and Dan scored for the under 18s. Nice. And the man who brings you probably the best football show on a Saturday afternoon, the Jeff Stelling of Warren's Team Talk. Warren himself. How are you, my friend? Hope you're doing good. Loved the show on Saturday. Had a great time winding everyone up and having a bit of crack and banter and stuff like that. And it was kind of a real enjoyable weekend for me as well, because my team wasn't playing, so they couldn't spoil my weekend. But now we're playing tonight, so I could be under. I could be about to endure the Monday blues, as they say. But let's see. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can get a win. Henry in there as well. Did you nick the Prem trophy so City can have it? Can't have it. Absolutely, Henry. They're not getting. I'm keeping that one. I don't care, and I want all the other ones back as well. Warren's here. Do people in Ireland like eating meat pies? Um, yeah, I'd imagine we probably do. Yeah, I'd imagine we probably do. I wouldn't eat a lot of them now, but they are there. You see them; they're on the shelves in the shops and stuff like that. And all, yeah, sure. It's a big treat for us, Warren, when we go over to the matches in the UK and all. And in England, the boys they'll be all over the pies and those chicken ones and stuff like that and all. And Henry's in the comments as well. Hi, Warren. Let's start, lads. Let's get into this Premier League review. Lots to talk about in this. So we start off early doors. West Ham 1, Chelsea 1. Beautiful goal taken by Joe Felix to put Chelsea in front. Followed up by West Ham. Emerson, the old Chelsea boy, getting the equaliser, and it was absolutely madness. Chelsea will probably feel a little bit hard done by, but West Ham gave them a really, really good game. But Chelsea with that penalty show, Soucek with the handball, which for me was a stonewall handball. He actually, if you go back and you look at it, he actually turned around to check that he had put the ball past the post, and the ref still didn't give it, and neither did VAR. Sometimes you gotta wonder, don't you? You have to wonder. Yeah, crazy. Warren again. Hi, Henry. I hope you are well. Absolutely. I'm good, Warren. And Joanne Smith making her debut. Joanne, how are you, darling? Hope you're doing well. Making her debut here on the upper tier. She jumped on board. Warren gave her the heads up. There's a little whisper, Joanne. I heard you like to do an odd bet and stuff like that. So Thursday is the show for you where we do beat the bookie and stuff like that. And Henry said, "Welcome, Joanne." And Joanne goes, "Hello, Warren. Great to see this community growing." Thanks to Warren there and Joanne. Great stuff. So yeah, this was crazy, and I mean we're going to talk about VAR. VAR was the whole encompassing of the weekend. Basically, everything got drilled down to that. Next up was Arsenal and Brentford, and this was a very interesting one as well. Arsenal and Brentford. Trossard getting the goal on 66. Terrible kind of first half. Nothing really happening in it. Arsenal with a few little bits, passages of play. Brentford pretty strong, had a couple of good chances, and were unlucky not to be in the lead going in at half time. But Trossard cropped up on 66 and took his goal. Lovely. Nothing unusual for this boy. We spoke about this boy when he made the switch from Brighton to Arsenal. But of course, up pops on 74 minutes the man, Ivan Toney himself, with a lovely goal as well. And this was the talk surrounding this and stuff like that. VAR couldn't draw the lines. They didn't know what way to look at it. I think it was Lee Mason who was looking at it, I think, and he never drew the lines for the offside. They never looked at it properly, and the goal stood. And they had a lot of time on this. They were looking at this for a while, and they still didn't figure it out. But yeah, it was an absolute strange one. And I suppose you could look at it and say, well, could Arsenal feel aggrieved? Yeah, maybe going into that last 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes being 1-0 up would have ratcheted up the pressure on on Brentford. But I think overall, when you look at the actual game, I think a draw is a fair result. I think Brentford had the lion's share of the good chances and stuff like that. Arsenal, again, struggling energy-wise, a little bit flat and really running out of ideas and stuff like that. And now with a massive game coming up on Wednesday, another kind of 6-pointer that will test Arsenal's resolve and credentials in terms of a title race. My feeling, if City get their nose in front, I'd fear for Arsenal's title challenge. I think City, once they get in front, you're going to feel kind of, you Arsenal fans, you're going to feel kind of like what I felt for a number of years when you're trying to chase down City and you're absolutely at your peak, trying to push and push and push and chase them down. And the mental fatigue of that and the physical fatigue of that of trying to stick with them and keep that title race alive. Liverpool did it for a number of years over the last 5 years. And I think that's part of our problem at the moment. We've kind of aged rapidly. Man City has aged us rapidly over those years. We now have lads that are like 28, 29, 30, 31, and they're playing like they're 45. And that's part of our biggest problem, you know. Joanne, I do have an odd bet, absolutely, yeah. And Warren, nice to see you, Joanne. And Henry in Chelsea are not at all that with all the money they have spent by Bowley, quite average. I wouldn't say they're quite average. I'd say probably Potter's still trying to figure out what his best 11 is. He has a number of players that have returned from injury, long-term injury and stuff like that. They need to fit in. But he also has a number of players that are trying to figure out. Look, we've often said this before. You could have a bottomless checkbook and go out and sign what you believe are the 11 best players in the world. But that doesn't mean you'll have a team. And this is kind of what Chelsea are suffering at the moment. There's still players there that I think they'll probably ship out. And I still think there's players there that just need to, you could argue Kai Havertz isn't playing in his best position. You could argue that a number of players are kind of adjusting into a kind of a Potter system, but they're not necessarily being utilised in their best positions. They've got a midfield at the moment that's still quite fluid. They've got a back line that still doesn't have that kind of thinking between them and stuff like that and all. So they have a lot of work to do there at the moment, Chelsea. They have all the tools in place in order for success and stuff like that, but they just need either Potter or, if there's going to be a change, a very strong manager to go in there and really bring the best out of all those players. That's what I believe anyway, Henry. Where are we? Joanne. I think Man United might sneak in and win the league. Oh, good Lord, Joanne, don't say that, please. Absolutely. Like, that would be my worst fears come true. My worst fears come true. Spurs are not good enough to be beaten by Leicester. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, Henry. Absolutely, we will be talking about that. I mean, York will be title winners if City get thrown out. They're not going to get thrown out. It's not going to happen this season anyway. Can't see it happening. And Warren, Henry, I just subscribed to your channel. There you go, Henry. We're ratcheting up the numbers already. And Warren, much appreciated. Absolutely. Right, let's get in then. Palace won, Brighton won. Another one for the VAR. Brighton can feel hard done by as well. Um, kind of it was an interesting game insofar as Tompkins scored on 69. Sully March, of course, on 63 for Brighton. Sully March is having a great season this season. But the goal that was ruled out again, a very iffy goal and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Howard Webb coming out and apologising to teams and all this kind of stuff. That's little consequence really in the bigger scheme of things, So yeah, poor officiating there again. Robin Brighton probably have 2 points. Fulham 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Absolute nightmare from Nottingham Forest. Absolutely losing the two centre backs within the space of 4 seconds. It was absolutely crazy. Bolly went off, and what was it again? Bolly and the Scott McKenna and Bolly both went off within the space of 4 seconds of each other. It was absolutely, and that kind of paved the way for Cooper. Then they couldn't really adjust after that. Nottingham Forest. William with an absolutely cracking goal. Don't know if you've seen it. Absolute missile into the far corner. Took a lovely, and Solomon on 88 to secure the points. What a job Marco Silva's doing there at the moment at Fulham. It's incredible, really. Next up, Leicester 4, Tottenham 1. Bentancur on 14, and then we're hearing today he went off injured, and apparently he's done his ACL and he is gone for the rest of the season. Shame, absolutely quality player. Really like your man Bentancur. But Leicester cropped up then on 23. Mendy scoring a goal, took his again. The thing about Spurs, you look at these Spurs, or you look at these Leicester goals. Two of them literally rolled into the bottom corners. Fraser Forster was so bad. Absolutely so bad. And Eric Dyer, for a Premier League central defender, was absolutely horrific. Horrific the way he stood off players. Ian Nacho gave him a torturous time. Barnes took his goal, lovely. Maddison again. Leicester absolutely on fire. And it's good to see it as well, because Brendan is sort of working again. He's really working again with his players and his squad again. We know he's been carrying a lot of injuries and stuff like that, and there's been questions over the squad and players wanting out and all that kind of stuff. But it's good to see Leicester pumping again. So really, really important. Southampton 1, Wolves 2. Wolves down to 10 men. Lamina getting sent off. But Wolves getting the winner right at the death on, what was it again? 87 minutes. João Gomez cropping up with the winner. The boy that myself and Darren have spoke about, they've brought him in and stuff like that, but we hadn't seen a lot of him. But yeah, João Gomez cropping up with the winner there. Bednarek with the OG as well. So Wolves still looking a little bit lame in front of goal, relying on the OG and a late winner and stuff like that. But being down to 10 men, Southampton in serious trouble. We're going to be talking about Nathan Jones getting the sack. The man was an absolute lunatic. I don't know how he even landed the job, to be honest. Crazy, crazy stuff. Another crazy game as well. Newcastle, Bournemouth 1, Newcastle 1. This is a game I expected Newcastle to kind of bounce back into and maybe get an away win. We know how tough Bournemouth is to go, and sure, no one more than Eddie Howe knows what it's like down there. Fans, of course, gave him a great reception, as you'd expect from solid Bournemouth fans. But this was one Bournemouth could have stole this one. Solanke was very unlucky, had a couple of chances as well. Newcastle just look at the moment like they're getting a bit of a nosebleed from the dizzy heights that they're at. They're kind of starting to feel that fatigue of being up around that. Little bit of pressure coming on Eddie Howe now as the Geordie expectation rises, especially still being up there and around the top four and stuff like that. Maybe they might be on a little bit of a slide, and maybe we could see maybe dipping down into Europa League stages and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle do over the next few weeks and stuff like that. But certainly they've just looked a little bit jaded. I was looking at Dan Burn and stuff like that playing the other day. Big fan of him and stuff like that. But he just looked a little bit off it and stuff like that. And it could be potentially maybe that fatigue is kicking in or something like that. But we shall see. Then we go into the Sunday games. Leeds, the Battle of the United, of course, rivals here up at Ellen Road and stuff like that. Leeds 0, Manchester United 2. Um, Again, a very, very interesting game. Um, but this one was a strange one because Leeds were very, very strong in this in the first half and stuff like that. Could have had a couple of goals, created a couple of chances. United seemed a little bit flat. Eric with a changed lineup, maybe with Barcelona in mind coming in on Thursday, the trip to Barcelona and the Europa League and stuff like that. He had changed it up. Very unusual kind of starting lineup, especially with Martinez on the bench and when he's not even involved on Thursday. It was interesting. But you see there on about 75 minutes or whatever it is, he changed it up. Veghorst was pushed into the 10, I think it was, from the 9. And straight away become a provider and stuff like that. Rashford cropping up with the goal on 80. Brought on Garnacho as well, and on 85, Garnacho got the goal as well. And Rashford, again, very unlucky with a really good goal as well, but it was ruled for offside. But Leeds, for about 70 minutes, were extremely competitive. But once United changed up that formation, Leeds didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't have a plan B, and they ended up having to sit back and deeply defend and stuff like that. And Rashford's goal, the first one, was an absolute cracker. Header in the box, took it really, really well. And then we finished out the weekend. Of course, we're playing tonight, Liverpool versus Everton at Anfield, 8 o'clock kickoff. But City 3, Aston Villa 1. This contest was over by half time. Man City absolutely sublime on the day. Ollie Watkins picking up the consolation. But Haaland was on fire. I don't know if you've seen that run he made when the ball was headed past the keeper. He just put on the afterburners and went straight by the player and stuff like that. And the assist absolutely killed me because it was Gundogan again on the back post. Similar shades of that Villa game last season that cost us the league, basically. But yeah, City looking very, very powerful, and that's going to be a really intriguing game on Wednesday. We shall just see what's going to happen. Let's take some comments now. Where were we? Uh, Henry, there's not much in it with the points. Yeah, absolutely. Very little. VAR shocker in the game of Palace. Yeah, absolutely. VAR shocker all weekend. And Warren, I will try to remember to give you a shout out on my show tomorrow night. It's a Champions League and Championship version of the Saturday show, starting at 7:30. Folks, check out this show. It's absolutely electric. Warren, he's top notch. Get in there, give him a subscription and all, and hit the bell notification, like the videos and all. Puts on a great show every week. And if he's doing the midweekers now, you should be all over it. Absolutely fantastic. And Henry, we have John Brooks on VAR tonight. It's been changed due to weekend cock-ups. No, John Brooks isn't on it as far as now. He's taken off. Didn't they switch him off? As far as I know, they took him off over what happened at the weekend, apparently. Being replaced. And Henry, I just subscribed to yours, Warren. Awesome stuff. Keep those subs going, boys. Niall, would you take Brendan for the Ireland job? I would, but I doubt we could afford him. Joanne, don't go upsetting me now. Everton 2, Liverpool 0 tonight. Wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But would be quite devastating to me. Would be another low point for me this season. And it really would spell the end of our season, really, wouldn't it, when you think about it? But Joanne, I hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. And Henry, Neverton setting up as a 4-5-1 formation, very defensive. Yeah, that's what Dyche will do, but he'll well, you see how strong that midfield is. And I was actually thinking about this today, Henry, and I was saying that we could do worse than to set up in a 3-5-2 as well to counteract that midfield, because that midfield will overrun us, and that midfield will certainly reap rewards tonight for Dyche. So don't think by setting up in a 4-5-1 that's overly defensive. That 5 across that midfield there will push forward at every opportunity. And Warren says, thanks a lot, Henry. Very much appreciate it. Absolutely. And Joanne, don't upset Niall. No, don't upset me. I'm upset enough as it is. I just ain't confident with Liverpool. Here's your brother, Joanne. Here's your brother. Absolutely. Niall Wornley for you. Joanne is usually very accurate with her predictions. It's not often I want someone to be wrong with their predictions, but tonight is one of them. Warren, go easy on me. I'm tender as it is. I think Liverpool need a new manager. Yeah, and about 8 new players. Not sure. I'm not sold on the new manager thing yet. I'll tell you in about 2 hours, but we shall see. Right, let's get into some of the stuff we want to talk about. Oh, sorry, no, we got to do our European stuff first as well. So coming up Tuesday, tomorrow night, we got AC Milan versus Tottenham. I can see that being a tough game for Tottenham. Bentancur out at the moment. Tottenham void of any confidence. Conte only back from illness. And players not really firing at all. Got absolutely drummed up by Leicester, so they'll probably struggle, especially on the back of that good win against Man City. It's very Spurs, isn't it? Who knows? Probably go tomorrow, play a storm and blow AC Milan away, but I doubt it. And then we've got PSG versus Bayern Munich, which is going to be a cracker. Fancy Bayern Munich in this one. There was a number of injuries at the weekend, as far as I know. I know Messi was out injured, and a couple of their other key players were out injured as well. And we know that PSG at times in the French league this season have struggled somewhat. So it could be an opportunity for Bayern Munich. Don't know how people feel about PSG. Let me know in the chat. But isn't it you can never visualize PSG lifting the European Cup. I just don't visualize it for one reason or another. I just don't see it. It's a mad one. Then Wednesday, we got a festival of football this week from tonight onwards, folks. It's going to be blasting right through till Thursday. Arsenal versus Man City in the league, coming to you from the Emirates. Going to be an absolute belter of a game. Hope Arsenal can bounce back, keep this title race alive. I just fear City get their noses in front. They're so hard to reel back in. I know I'm a Liverpool fan. And Dortmund versus Chelsea. Really looking forward to seeing Jude Bellingham against Chelsea and stuff like that. That's going to be a cracking game. This could be an interesting one for Potter as well, because spotlight on him at the moment. Results not going very well. What's he got? One win in 13 or something like that, or I seen there the other day some tweet from, I think it was Matt Law who tweeted it or something like that, but really, really poor so far. But again, a team trying to adjust and a lot of players not his own, but we shall see. And then Bruges versus Benfica rounding out the Wednesday. Then Thursday, we have the big one on Thursday, Barcelona versus Man United. This will be an interesting test for Eric Ten Hag and also for Man United to see just how far they have come up against Barcelona. Should be really interesting. I think Barcelona are on a run at the moment. Are they on a run of 14 games or something like that at the moment, unbeaten? Something really, really colossal. So we'll wait and see how that goes. Let's take a few more comments first. Joanne, is the mice after the cheese? Nope, Joanne. Klopp is here to stay. He's not going anywhere. Well, Henry, there was a little report came out today on Goal. I don't know whether we should believe it or not, that apparently conversations have been had with Real Madrid in relation to potentially Ancelotti's successor down the line. And also talk came out from Goal's transfer blog as well, that apparently he's intimated, Klopp has, that if he was to go to Real Madrid, the players he would want to sign there, one of them being one Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappe. So never say never, Henry, we shall see. But stories coming out at the moment are not good. I get my Giroud fix tomorrow. Come on, Olivier. You love scoring against Spurs. Yeah, absolutely. What a player as well. See him in the World Cup. He was absolutely fantastic. And for girls like yourself, Joanne, very easy on the eye as well, I would imagine. Henry's in the comments as well. Wouldn't mind that, Joanne. Yeah, absolutely. And Joanne, not confident about Wednesday. Arsenal have been rubbish. Yeah, but I mean, if you're ever going to bounce back, it's kind of like us tonight. If we're ever going to bounce back and show a bit of form and a bit of heart and a bit of passion, it's going to be in a derby, isn't it, for you guys? So it's going to be a top of the table clash. This is where you sink or swim. This is where they really, truly test the mettle of Mikel Arteta and the squad there. How much do they want it? And remember, we've seen games this season as well. City are vulnerable. Teams have taken points off them and beaten them. Look, Everton did them. So, never say never. So let's see what happens. And Acers is in the comments. Thank God UEFA has so common sense for Champions League final outcome. Police was always to blame for the whole thing. Absolutely. The police and the organisers were absolutely to blame. And look, listen, that was out there, like all the rubbish that was coming out on the night of it and stuff like that, and the crap that we had to listen to, and it's Liverpool fans again as usual and all this kind of crap. I'm glad that the truth came out, and there should be some sort of reprehensible compensation there, I would imagine, for those people that were affected by it. It was an absolute shambles and shambolic, and especially you got a team in a dressing room trying to prepare for their biggest game of the season, the European Cup final. And family members are messaging them saying that they're outside getting tear gassed and stuff like that. What sort of preparation is that for a team and stuff like that? No excuses, Real Madrid on the night, but still, surely it didn't help. So yeah, thanks for that, Acers, absolutely. And Henry's back in the comments as well. Terrible about Thiago out for at least another month. Yeah, possibly going to miss both Real games. But it's one step forward, two steps back. But this is where people have to stand up now and be counted. Let's see how good the likes of Cody Gakpo is and players like that moving into him. Let's see if Captain Fantastic Hendo's going to do the business. Let's see what Naby Keita's about now. Let's see who's going to step in there and do the business. Uh, yeah, it's shit or bust on Wednesday, Joanne. Yeah, I think so. I think, look, there's a lot of games still to go, and there's a lot of twists and turns in this. And, as you said earlier, don't be surprised if United sneak in off the last bend there like a horse race at Cheltenham. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They're flying under the radar at the moment. Their fans are talking them down, and we're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to talk about the title race and how Man United fans are reacting to it at the moment. They don't want to put their nads on the chopping block and say that they're in a title race. They don't want to put it up there, Whereas if it's me, I'll go, yeah, we're in a title race. Let's go. If we fail, we fail. But that's the way we are. Fans, you got to support your team and push it out there. Just going to get you a little bit of team news here for, where are we? Fixtures. Team news coming in for the Merseyside derby. The lineups have been confirmed. So for Liverpool, we have Alisson, Trent, Joel Matip, Joe Gomez, Andy Robinson, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, Stefan Bietic, Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, Cody Gakpo. Interesting. Someone tell me, good Lord, someone tell me how Joel Matip and Joe Gomez retained their place after that weekend. Someone explain that to me. Look, we've Nat Phillips there, who we know will be 100% and get stuck into these boys. Just someone explain to me what Joe Gomez or Joel Matip are going to do to Tarkovsky and Connor Cody on set pieces or on corners. Good Lord. Oh, I can feel it now. 10:15. I'm going to be ripping stuff off the wall here for this match reaction. Liverpool, please prove me wrong. For Everton, Pickford in goals, of course. Then we got Seamus Coleman, who was absolutely sensational against Arsenal. Connor Cody, Tarkovsky, Mikalenko, Guehi in midfield, along with Doucouré and Onana, who have been excellent. Sims up front, Rico Sims up front, with Dwight McNeil flanking him and Iwobi on the other side. Interesting. They're setting up in a 4-3-3. But I don't think they'll set up in an actual 4-3-3. But it'll be interesting to see. So it should be a good game. Really looking forward to it. There'll be plenty of physicality, few bumps and bruises, few slaps. Maybe even Deutsch and Klopp might get into it on the sideline. Who knows? So we shall see. Acers in the comments. UEFA final said that the police were training for France FA Cup final for 3 weeks. Oh, dear God. Seriously. Henry, Phillips should be starting and Núñez should be on the left, not in the centre. Absolutely. Henry, my thoughts today were to go with a 3-5-2. Have Núñez and Salah up front, Cody Gakpo on the left, coming in off that side, but to flood the midfield and dominate the game. But the gaffer's gone with the same usual 4-3-3. Hasn't worked most of the time this season. Big ass tonight of Henderson and Fabinho. I can see a couple of early bookings as well, and that's going to make it very, very interesting. Virgil's on the bench, if we need to call him. Keita's on the bench. Bobby's on the bench. Harvey's on the bench. Jota's on the bench. What's going on here? The bench looks better than the starting 11. What's going on here? Our bench is Virgil, Milner, Keita, Firmino, Elliott, Jota, Costas, Nat Phillips, and Queevy and Kelleher. Apart from the goalkeeper situation, our bench is better than our starting lineup. What is the gaffer doing here? What is he doing? I like Bietic in the 8. Yeah, absolutely. Good shout, Henry. And Acers is back in. I think 3 points tonight, but losing to Newcastle on Saturday. I don't know. Newcastle are a little bit blunt at the moment, Acers. Have you seen them play? They look a little bit jaded and a little bit out of ideas. They were looking the other day against Bournemouth, in fairness. Bournemouth had some great chances to win that game. But we shall see. Right, let's talk. What's out here? We're going to start. Let's talk about the title race first. The title race is heating up something fierce at the moment. You can see Pep feeling a little bit of the pressure of it and of these charges and allegations and stuff like that coming out with all sorts of nonsense. Like, Man City was the cause of the Gerrard slip and all that. And amongst other things, we see Arsenal struggling against Brentford, obviously getting beaten by Everton, letting City back in there. City now, I think, within 2 points of them or something like that. Hang on, I'm just coming out of here now. I just want to have a look at this. Where am I? So yeah, this is the title race at the moment. So really, really tied up there at the moment. 3 points within it. Arsenal, of course, with a game in hand, and United loitering on 46, just two off City and five off Arsenal. So Wednesday could be pivotal either way. But the question is, and we've been asking this in terms of this title race, United and United fans do not want in any way, shape, form, or fashion to discuss the title race. And we heard Gary Neville last night after the United game or the City game, I think it was, talking about how he didn't feel United were prepared and ready for a title race yet. And Roy Keane had the opposite side of that, saying United have to be ready to pounce if Arsenal or City falter. And I think that's the way they should be thinking. I think that bank slapping the title race, they just don't want to talk about it. Our resident referee is in the house. Evening, cuz, you are looking great. Cheers, cuz. Hope to have you back on soon. Mark's our resident referee. Mark, this would have been a great weekend for you. All these VAR decisions. Mark's a referee. He would be livid at the Premier League. I don't know how many times he spoke about the lack of quality in the Premier League and the lack of bodies in the VAR booth compared to what we see in Qatar and what we see in Europe and stuff like that. Looks like Klopp wants the sack with that team. 100%. A lot of reports coming out from Real Madrid today, goal in Spain and stuff like that, talking about meetings have been held and stuff like that. And apparently, if he leaves, the talk is he wants to bring Jude Bellingham to Real Madrid. Wouldn't that be just the ultimate insult for Liverpool fans? First of all, potentially losing Jurgen Klopp, and then the kid we've been talking about for 3 years, he takes him with him to Real Madrid. Oh, God, just imagine the outrage, the banter would be off the scale. Warren, the problem is the teams who have taken points off City have tactically astute managers. We don't. Um, can't argue with that point. You know better than I do. Klopp currently speaking now. Yeah, absolutely. And Warren, hi, Mark. I hope, I hope you. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, Yeah, so that's it. Title race. It's just I think United are bank slapping this title race. Um, my only fear is if City get their noses in front. I just think that once they get their nose in front, they're just relentless. They're like trap six coming off the last bend at a greyhound race, aren't they? They just get their nose in front and then they just take off wide, and it's very, very hard to get them. Let's talk about VAR. We have to talk about VAR tonight. Some of those decisions at the weekend are just unforgivable. Starting with that West Ham handball was 100% a handball, and the fact that like they didn't even really properly look at it, like it was so quick and it was just play odd, but it was 100% a handball. Mark, you're in the comments there as well. Talk to me about these VAR decisions. Jump in the chat there and let me know. I want to know about the Chelsea. I want to know about the West Ham handball where he pushed it around the post and looked back to make sure he did. Talk to me about the Brighton goal. Obviously, talk to me about the Brentford goal, and there's a litany of stuff really, and lads not even drawing lines and stuff like that. VAR, Mark has left the chat. There you go. That sums it up, doesn't it? Yeah, but it's absolutely. And then you've Howard Webb coming out and he wants to acknowledge the mistakes, and he wants to he's personally apologising to Brighton and Arsenal. No mention of Chelsea, of course. West Ham Stonewall, Stonewall handball. Um, Warren reckons I wouldn't rule Liverpool and Chelsea out of a top four finish. I think it's going to be tough. I think with Chelsea, their form is very indifferent at the moment, and I think for us, our form isn't indifferent. Our form is the same every week. Absolutely diabolical. And so I don't know. I think if we get a few players back and we get a bit of unity in the squad there, I think we might be able to do something. But there's just so much shit going on at the moment off the field. I don't think dare say it's easy to focus on what's going on the field. A number of things happening there at the moment that are just ruining and destroying our season, and it's no excuse, but injuries, fatigue, and all the other crap that's going on at the moment off the field and on the field and stuff like that. So it's just us, it would be a massive stretch. And I know if we win our two games in hand and stuff like that, we're only 6 off it or something like that. But 6 points at the moment for us, the way we're playing, is absolutely huge. Chelsea, I think they have a bit of figuring out to do. I think it's going to take them time to do that. I think they'll be loitering around that kind of 8th to 6th position, really. They'll float in around that. Can't see it being any more than that. Acer's in the comments. He reckons Barcelona will destroy United over 2 legs. I don't fully concur with that, because I haven't really seen anyone, bar the Brighton and Brentford game earlier in the season, and you could say maybe, but no one's really destroyed them, so I don't expect them to get destroyed. Our resident ref back in. I've said it since last summer. FA need to invest in bodies. Have one person manning the VAR is not enough. The likes of Germany, Spain, France have at least 4 to 5 in there looking at the instance. Absolutely, Mark. And we even seen it. Look in Qatar. Remember when we looked at it in Qatar, there was about 7 bodies in the room, and they're all giving their opinion. There's a bit of instruction there. They're all looking and so quick to arrive at a decision as well. No messing about and stuff like that. They really need to look at that and invest in it, because it's a nonsense at the moment that a guy could be in that boot and not even draw the lines for an offside and stuff like that. It's just shocking. And see the overall picture of this as well. Like, if you think about it, if that Brentford goal is disallowed and Arsenal do pick up the 3 points, now I've already said I think Brentford were full value for their draw. But if Arsenal did go on and pick up the 3 points, that's a very different mood than going into Wednesday. And, this is where little things are decided and where things come unraveled and stuff like that. The trajectory of the league and of the games definitely changes majorly. If Arsenal had picked up the 3 points there, and even their attitude going into the City game would change, Henry goes, I agree, Mark. Yeah, absolutely. Mark's always spot on. Morris in the comments, check out Cheap Heat Production podcast. Big game needed from Salah tonight to stand. Time to stand up. Morris, big game needed from 1 to 11 and all the bench. I don't know what he's doing tonight. Looking at the bench and looking at what he's put out there is absolutely madness, but we shall see. I'll let you know about 10:15 my thoughts on all this. Tune in at 10:15. We'll be giving a match reaction and player ratings. Mark in the Euros, it was the same day at 5, and there was only one incident that people were talking about, was Sterling incident versus Denmark. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, and it's so blatant and so in their face and stuff like that, and it's just Howard Webb then coming out and apologising and all. It just calls everything into question and stuff like that. And even Darren, when we talked to Darren about VAR, Darren always talks about VAR being, they're checking everything now. Like, they're checking everything. They even checked that Rashford goal yesterday, you know what I mean, which was clearly a goal. And just the anxiety that it brings to fans and to players and all, it just takes your love and your enjoyment out of the game. Because, like, if you're being told 2 minutes later that it's a goal, that joy and elation that you feel when they score is just sucked right out of you, and you go, right, let's get on with it. So it's killing the game, and Darren's right, it is. They're trying to search for every reason not to give a goal now, instead of in the old days where they used to just, remember, we used to give the forward the benefit of the doubt and stuff like that. We wanted forward players on the forward full trying to score and stuff like that. So we'll see what happens. Where are we? Warren, there was no way Brentford's goal was offside and Mbuemo's goal. It was 100% actually offside. It was 100% offside. Yeah. Mbuemo's goal was a beauty, but the Brentford goal was when they went back and looked at it, it was offside. It was the second phase of play. Warren, the guy who headed it back over or whatever it was offside. Acers, he's saving squad for Real Madrid on Pancake Tuesday. He's not saving the squad for that. That's absolute nonsense. There's no way that's the case. It's crazy. We're in a Merseyside derby here. 50-odd thousand people strong at Anfield under the lights on a Monday night in a derby, and he's saving the players for a game that's over a week away. What's he going to do? Put out the under-21s against Newcastle at the weekend? Absolute nonsense. I can't be dealing with that. Morris back in the comments. It was Warden, hence the Warden, hence the apology. Yeah, absolutely. Howard Webb. Warren, sorry, it was Warren, hence the apology. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And Morris there. Warren, yeah, absolutely. What else did I want to talk about? Of course, we've seen Alan Shearer going absolutely ballistic over the Chelsea decision. Let's talk about Nathan Jones. And not the Nathan Jones that ran out of WWE because of The Undertaker. We're talking about the Nathan Jones who was ran out of Southampton the other day. always had a weird feeling about this. I know when he initially went in, I think Darren had the idea that yeah, he was coming in with a bit of pedigree stuff like that. Thought it was a good appointment, but like very quickly, really quickly unraveled. And when you think about the stuff that he came out with, the other day, his interview, good lord, apart from last week's interview where he was blaming fans on what did he come out with? First of all, having more men on the pitch helped his side lose. So having the man advantage helped his side lose. This lad's unbelievable. Then declared himself as one of the best managers in Europe. And then Saints fans, he said the Saints fans were to blame for his tactics. Like this guy was just, I don't know, maybe he realised after like X amount of games in the job or X amount of weeks in the job, he just didn't fancy it. But it's left Southampton now in a perilous position. Really struggling in the league. You wouldn't know where points are going to come from. Struggling at times to score goals, and now managerless. So let's see what happens. Morris, first of all, which Jones was worse? I don't know. Maybe the Nathan Jones of Southampton would have followed through and maybe had that match with Undertaker or whatever it is. So I don't know. Who knows? And then Warren Pancake Tuesday over Merseyside Derby. That is madness. Yeah. No, yeah. And then Morris is back in. I'd say Jones is a lunatic after a few Jamisons. Yeah, maybe give him the Irish job. He can have as many Jemmies as he wants. And Warren, Corporal Jones all day long. Don't panic. And Henry's back in the comments. Too many owners sacking managers. Too many managers getting away with it, Henry. That's what I would say. The amount of managers in that league at the moment that are just being held in jobs and performance is horrific. And Marky back in, our resident referee, said it on the mashup when he was appointed. He wouldn't last the season. Seen a lot of him at Stoke. He had no plan B at all. He isn't a Premier League manager. Yeah, good shout, Marky. You did say it on the mashup when we were talking about. So that's Nathan Jones, Southampton looking for a manager in a precarious position. Really struggling. What else do we want to talk about? We have to talk about Mudryk, don't we? We have to talk about this Instagram post. The Instagram post about Cucurella and that Cucurella posted it or something like that. And Mudryk, was it Mudryk or Cucurella liked it or whatever, or Mudryk liked it. But just weird stuff going on at Chelsea at the moment, isn't it? Last week we had Bowley liking a tweet about Cucurella not being a Chelsea player and all this. And this week we have players going in on each other on Instagram. It's absolutely crazy, but a lot of fun. Jurgen Klopp as well, the gaffer for tonight, of course. He's absolutely furious at Didi Hamann. He tweeted, Didi Hamann, the alarm bells should have been ringing for Liverpool fans when the current assistant manager wrote a book while still employed by the club. How was he allowed to do it? I'm not too sure. Calling into play Pep Lijnders releasing a book talking about Liverpool's tactics and coaching and stuff like that, and Jurgen Klopp writing the foreword to it. A lot of Liverpool fans out there absolutely irate about this. Some comments. Henry, I love Corporal Jones. So funny. And Morris back in. Imagine Stephen Kenny has outlasted all these guys. Fucking hell. Absolutely. And Morris, Cucurella getting bullied while the substitute PE teacher Potter does nothing. Meanwhile, Principal Todd lurking. Yeah, I love that. I love that last week when Potter was interviewed. Remember in the presser, and they were asking him about Todd Bowley liking the tweet about Cucurella, and he goes, "I wouldn't have a clue even what that means. I'm not on social media." Whether you're on social media or not, Graham, you know what a tweet is, and you know what happens when someone likes a tweet. But I get it. You have to cover for your gaffer's stupidity. But yeah, absolutely, it's just hilarious at the moment. You're kind of waiting for the Chelsea games to finish and then them to hit social media and just to pick up these little nuggets of what's potentially going to happen and stuff like that. The man is in the house tonight as well. Del Boy Gunner TV. What's the crack? What's the bleeding story, Niall? And all in the chat. Absolutely buzzing, Del. Can't wait for this game tonight, but I'll let you know at 10:15 how I actually feel about it. I'd be very worried about the lineup. Very encouraged by the bench, but I don't know the stubbornness of this manager. He may not release these players from the bench until the 60th minute when things have gone absolutely arseways. Warren in the comments. Please, guys, hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Absolutely appreciate all that. Dale, if you're in the chat as well and you're still there, let us know. I've seen you absolutely exploding, yourself and Kyle. Absolute two legends over what's going on there at Arsenal at the moment. It looks like it's ebbing away. Do you see any way come this Wednesday where you could get a big result and stable things down a little bit and stuff like that? Or do you reckon that it's too much of a stretch at the moment? My own gut feeling, I was saying earlier in the show, I think if City get their noses in front, they're so difficult to reel back in. And then you have to be careful looking over your shoulder as well. One Man United coming out of the darkness as potentially a third horse in this title race. So let's see what happens. Going to be very, 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 very interesting. Little bit of an update from Liverpool as well. It looks like Calvin Ramsey is going to be out for the rest of the season. We brought him in and he was kind of carrying an injury, but it looks like he's potentially gone for the rest of the season. And also Thiago Alcantara gone for at least a month. Looks like he could be ruled out of both Real Madrid games. Massive loss for us. You have to ask, where is the creativity going to come from the midfield now? Real problem. Henry, time to hide behind the sofa. Game is due to kick off in 15 minutes. Absolutely, it's going to be an absolute. This is going to show now what our physicality and our metal is like, and our heart and our passion. Are we going to let 55,000 Anfield strong? Are we going to let them down? Or are we going to man up at this one? Let's see what actually happens. It's going to be a belter. To say I'm concerned is an understatement, especially looking at that lineup. Once again, rewarding players for poor performance is not the best way to manage a team. But who am I to tell the gaffer what he should be doing? But let's see what happens. You live and die by the sword. So let's see. Warren, hi at Del Boy Gunner TV. I hope you are well. Zach's video about the Prime was wild. Didn't see it yet, but I did see Zach was in the chat on Warren's show on Saturday. Good lad. Doing great stuff there. Fair play to you, Del. Tell him he's doing great stuff to keep it going. Zach is Del's son. He's doing a YouTube channel at the moment, so really cool young lad doing that. Excellent stuff. Henry, do you think we do too much training and warm-ups during week and match day, Niall? Well, that won't be the excuse tonight, Henry, because he gave them 2 days off. That's another thing as well. Someone explain that to me as well. We go out and we're absolute pony against Wolves. We've been absolute pony for the last month. And Klopp gives them 2 days off. I wonder was that so he could just cool down before he absolutely obliterated them. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. Has anyone ever seen a situation there with a manager where the team is so bad and so underperforming that he gives them 2 days off? Go home, lads. I don't want to see us for 2 days. I wonder, was it out of frustration or did he really want them to rest and recover? But apparently they came back in on Tuesday, I think it was, and they've been really aggressive in training this week and really up for it. So let's just see how up for it they are tonight, or has it all been a waste of time? Del Boy in the chat. Check out Del's channel, by the way, folks. Absolutely fantastic. Match reactions and panels and all that kind of stuff, similar to myself, and lots of other stuff in between as well when we react to certain things that happen. I agree, Noah. First goal will be vital. If City score, I can't see us getting back in the game. Pep has his team well drilled to manage the game when ahead. Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose the only thing is Haaland may be missing. So that might help situations. Hi, Warren. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. And Henry, hi, Del Boy. And Henry again, where's Rodney? Del Boy and Rodney, yeah, classic stuff. Folks, that's it for the Monday mashup. One more. Acers, Gakpo and Nunes have to step up now. Time to prove their transfer fees are total waste of money by board. Transfer fees mean nothing. Euros, pounds, dollars and shillings and all don't kick footballs. That should be absolutely irrelevant. Gakpo has been horrific since he came, but he's come into a shit show, let's be honest. Nunes has shown glimpses of what he can do. Let's see how Captain Chaos does tonight against two very good centre-backs in Cody and Tarkovsky. I think he'll have his hands full tonight, but we shall see. But I wouldn't be using the transfer fee as any way of an excuse. At Henry Ray Baker, Montel, mate. And Joanne Smith's there. I'm back being looking for my cat. Did you find her? Did you find the cat, Joanne? Did you find it? Let us know if you found it. And Henry, Jesus saying, LOL. Absolutely. Folks, absolutely pleasure bringing you the Monday mashup. I know it's an early show, quite a quicker show as well. But we do have the Merseyside Derby coming up, and I do have to, for my sins, potentially show up later for a match reaction and player ratings, as I always do. Thank you for your company tonight for this Monday mashup. Of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification button, all that good stuff. And we will be back with you at 10:15 for a match reaction. Reds, do not let me down. There will be absolute war.